got your file, and I wanted to give you this quick video, just some suggestions here. The first thing I noticed is make sure that you're embedding your images and packaging your file correctly. Packaging the file correctly means you're going to go to File, Package, and include all images and fonts as well as your PDF in there. I only see your InDesign file, so make sure you're doing that correctly. The next thing I noticed is your bounding boxes for your text boxes aren't quite aligned. I can tell because see how this one aligns up to the left one, this one doesn't quite align to the right one. So just pull that to the right there. That way you know that your type is centered, okay? You probably pull this back up here. Oh, okay, I see you have like a white kind of a background to this. The only thing is it still is kind of hard to read, so especially when you have stroke on type. I would take that completely off. Typically, I'm bringing the front here, you don't really want to put any strokes on any type of type going on here. I'm going to delete this and get rid of that. So go ahead and select your type, get rid of the stroke on all of your type. I'm going to get rid of all the background white areas just because I want to show you some suggestions here. Get rid of the stroke on that. Make sure that this bounding box is also aligned, so move this over so it's hitting upon the margins. Okay, so that's properly centered. So how do we make more contrast here? Let's make sure that this is centered too. There's a box here for some reason. Let me get rid of this. Right. Oh, that's the box for that. Okay. For some reason, I'm not sure why this is acting this way here. Hold on. There's a, is this box here? Okay. You just must have like a really big, get rid of that space there. All right, take your logo back in here. Make sure that's centered. This should try to, not sure why this isn't centering. It should allow you to center it. I'm not quite sure why it's not. Just make sure that's centered. You could probably, oh, you know what? This is why. Your bounding box isn't, you have almost like two bounding boxes in here for some reason. I would go and replace this. You have two bounding boxes for some reason, and it's not allowing it to be centered correctly. It's really weird. I would just get rid of that. Take your rectangle frame tool, draw out one box, Command D. Let me have to go to my Google Drive here. Hold on one second. 3. Oh, I did Starlight Bistro. Okay. Let me undo this. Just repaste that in there. Make sure that that's only in one box and make sure it's centered. For some reason, I don't have the original logo on my computer right now. It'll take forever. For some reason, it's in two bounding boxes and shouldn't be. And it's trying to link to it, and I don't think I have your actual logo, so it's a little awkward right now with trying to place this. Just make sure it's centered and make sure the whole logo is showing the border and everything. Okay, with your type, my suggestion would be go ahead and do the rectangle tool at the bottom here, maybe probably about up to 7 inches. Go ahead and take your eyedropper tool and select a color within here. Maybe like a darker color. See how it kind of samples that, and then fill it with that. And then what you can do, once you fill it, go to the gradient feather tool, which is right under your gradient tools. Select that, hold down the shift key, click and drag from the bottom up. And this will give you a really nice gradient. Just make sure you don't go right outside of that bounding box. This will give you a nice transparent gradient. So now you can add, make sure you bring this to the front. So object, arrange, bring to front. You can add your copy here and it will be readable. Okay, looks like we have more copy under here. Hold on. There we go. The next thing I would do is center your you don't even have to, I don't know if this is the actual copy given to you. Make sure you're using the actual copy given to you. I'm not quite sure if this is what was given to you or not. Maybe make the, oh, this is 18 points, okay. I would probably make this about 14 points, and then I would make this about probably like 16 points. Go ahead and type that in. And then I would maybe make the phone number just a little bit, maybe 24 points, make it bold. Okay, this will set up your hierarchy. Remember that people will be looking at this close to their face, about 8 or 9 inches. So that's pretty big, what you had it set up before. So this is 16 now, and this is at 14. So we're just setting up the hierarchy, what's most important here, making sure it's readable. As far as the tagline goes, you know, maybe try putting it below the logo, maybe bump the logo up. Of course, I can't grab your logo very easily here. Just bring this up to maybe the 2-inch line for better balance. And then, oops, I would make maybe this, there's no bold option. Try, what do you have this set out here? Calibri. Whatever you do with this copy, you want to make sure it is consistent with this copy. Bring up my character palette here. You could do all caps. That might kind of make it nice. And I would make it just a little smaller. So maybe 24 points. And then if you find that this is hard to read, there it looks like there's a it looks like there's a slight drop shadow to that. Oh, make sure there's no border right there. Oh. We want to say no color. I just can't pick that swatch for some reason. There we go. And the same with this. There's a border. There's something right here. It's like a line of some sort, and delete that. If you need a little bit of, I think that actually doesn't read too bad. If you pull this up a little bit more, you'll get the lighter part of the stone. So it might be easier to read, like right here. I think that actually works. And it balances really well. You have the 1/3 grid structure rule. It's very easy to read and everything's spaced out very well. The only thing is the logo isn't quite centered, but for some reason I can't get that. There we go. Just make sure you're centering the logo. So that looks pretty good. The inside, you want to make sure that you're also making it unified with the outside. I think this is nice with the rocks. I would take out the border here. I don't think this is needed. I think it kind of gets in the way. I don't know what that is. I'll get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of the border. Whoops. Not the type. I don't know why this goes all the way over here. Get rid of the border here. Keeping it simple. I would get rid of this guy. I think that kind of looks cheesy. I would get rid of that. And, you know, remember this is like a very expensive restaurant, so you want to keep it very simplistic. I would even think about bringing these over here, maybe into the brick. And centering them. Bring up your alignment panel. Where is my alignment panel? Sorry if you hear my heat just came on. Here we go. Make sure they're aligned, centered. I'm not sure why they seem so like a gradient on them. Make sure you can see them though. And then I would probably change the color that you have going on here to a color that unifies maybe more with maybe this brown color that we put in here from the stone. Okay. The blue, like that really electric blue, is kind of, it kind of cheapens the brand look. I'm going to add this swatch to my swatch panel here. It's a very bright, more casual color. Might work for other brands, but not maybe for this brand. My color swatches are good. So just kind of change that, and you might want to pull your tabs out a little bit more so that let's see, where's your styles at here? Oh, okay. So you want to make sure you have your character style set in here. You don't have any of these character styles. Go back and listen to the lecture that I did. I kind of showed you. I really need you to do the character styles. You need to have at least 2 or 3 character styles, not just the headers. You need to have body copy, subheads. So set that up as well, okay, for possible points. But I would set your tabs a little differently here so that the 14 goes out a little bit more to the right, so that you have, you know, you're kind of utilizing that. You have your copy that kind of goes all the way to this edge. So I would take your price point to at least here. So this 14 would end here, okay? I hope this helps, and I think once you do those changes, you're going to be on track with everything. All right, thanks.